This is a morning yin class. It's a great way to wake up the body gently. There will be some spine mobilization and restful poses as well. So when you're ready, come to your mat and we'll find a comfortable seated position. You can sit up on a blanket or a bolster or a block. And we'll just want the spine to be straight but at rest. So you can kind of rock back and forth and find a place where it feels like your spine can rest in an upright position. And you can close the eyes if that feels good. Settling into your practice. And we'll take some big breaths into the belly. So sending your attention to the low belly area around the navel. And taking deep breaths into this area. Feeling the slight rise on the inhale. And feeling the body relax a little bit more every exhale. And slowly blinking the eyes open when you're ready. And we'll come to a bit more of a dynamic move, so we'll come to alternating side bends. So bringing the left hand or forearm to the mat and reaching the right arm up and over the body. Reaching towards the far wall. And on an exhale, coming back up to upright. The right hand finding the mat, the left arm arching over the head. Reaching through that top arm. And on an exhale, coming back up to center. And just flowing with your breath here, so this can be as fast or as slow as feels good. And taking one more rotation. And then eventually coming back to center, sitting upright. And we'll come into butterfly. So if you have a block or a bolster, it can be nice to have that in front of you to lean on. So we'll come with the feet together. So soles of the feet are touching, knees are out wide. Have some sort of support in front of you to lean on. So sitting upright, we're going to slowly come over our feet. So we're really wanting to reach forward instead of just coming straight down. So reaching the spine long, finding your support, finding length in the spine, finding your personal edge in this moment. So whatever amount feels appropriate for you today. And when you find your edge, just settling in and finding a place where you can rest and relax as much as possible. And again, finding deep breaths into the low belly here. In yin, we really want to be able to relax into the pose so the tissues and the fascia can release and soften. So that's where props come in. It's helpful to have as many props as you need to bring the ground up to you so that you can relax. And taking one more deep breath here. And on an exhale, using your arms and hands to push yourself back up to upright. We're going to come into cat-cow, another slightly more dynamic movement. So coming onto hands and knees, full force position. And on an inhale, we're going to drop the belly, arch the back, and look up towards the sky or the ceiling. And on an exhale, arching the back the other way, head and neck tucked down, looking towards your knees. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the face. And exhale to arch the back. And you can continue at whatever pace feels good for you, moving with your breath. You can also bring this to the side, so expanding into the rib cage, kind of, you can do like a figure 4 motion or an infinity sign. Circling the rib cage and waking up the spine. Move through one more breath cycle here. And then we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So we'll be lying on our belly on the mat. Coming down onto the stomach. And it can be nice to have a bolster here if you'd like a little more support under the chest. You can have a bolster or blanket like this to support the neck or the chest. Or you can just have the forearms pushing into the mat. Letting the chest spread and reach towards the sky. Feeling that gentle compression in the low back. If you're feeling pain or too much tension in the low back, you can come lower or add support. And just breathing into this pose here. Feeling the belly breathe into the mat. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears, feeling the shoulder blades on the back, moving down the back. Taking one more deep breath here. And when you're ready, pushing into the hands to come back up to all fours. Maybe taking another round of cat-cow if that feels good. We're going to come into melting heart pose. So again, having a bolster or a support handy can be nice to put under the chest. We're going to come into all fours and then start to reach the hands out away from you. And eventually, maybe the forearms come to the floor. Chin comes to the floor. And if it feels better, you can have some support under the chest, if that feels like too much in the shoulders. And feel the arms and the pelvis reaching away from each other, finding length in the spine. And again, finding that deep breath into the belly. Finding a little more softness on every exhale. And taking one more deep breath. And slowly walk the knees and the arms and hands back towards one another. And come back to sit on your heels or sit cross-legged, whichever way feels good for your body. Just taking a moment here to feel the spine, feel the shoulders. Maybe you feel some tingling or it feels like energy moving through the body in a different way. And in your own time, we'll come into child's pose. So you can have a bolster here for supported child's pose. So knees wide, sitting back on the heels, maybe a bolster between the legs, and coming to lie over the bolster. And you can also do this without a prop and a little bit deeper stretch into the hips. Reaching the arms away from you and bringing the forehead or the side of the face to the mat. And feeling that opening in the hips. And sinking deeper into the stretch with every exhale. About another minute here, just breathing into the belly, the spine, and the hips. Taking one more deep breath. And slowly pushing back up to all fours. And then coming back to sit on the heels or cross-legged in a way that feels good for you. And again, we'll just notice our body. Notice sensation. And we're going to come into dragon pose. So we'll start with the right leg. Bringing the right leg to a 90-degree angle. Right foot flat on the floor, left knee on the ground. It can be nice to hold on to something if you have a wall or a chair. And we're really trying to find length in the left hip flexor and quad muscle. So rising up tall in the spine, tilting the pelvis and tailbone down just a little bit so you feel that extra stretch. You can point the chin down or face the floor if that feels good. You can also take this pose with hands on the ground, next, kind of framing the right foot. It's a slightly different stretch across the front of the left thigh. And just see which version feels better for you today. On every inhale, rising up and finding length. And on the exhale, relaxing into the pose. And on your next exhale, bring the hands back to the mat. It can feel nice to bring the right leg straight in half splits position, flexing through the foot and stretching the calf. And then we'll come into dragon on the other side. So left foot flat on the mat, right knee on the mat. Again, finding length in the quad and hip flexor now on the right side. Imagining the pelvis and the tailbone tucking under a little bit. And standing up tall. And again, option to have your hands on the mat, framing the left foot. A few more breaths in this pose. And on your next exhale, bringing hands back to the mat. Again, you can take the half splits position, bringing the left leg straight, toes coming towards you. And coming back to a seated position when you're ready. Noticing any sensation in the legs. And breathing into the low belly. When you're ready, we'll come into deer pose. So sitting on your mat, we'll first bring the left leg out in front of you at a 90-degree angle and the right leg behind you at approximately a 90-degree angle. This can be closer towards you if that feels more stable, or it can be further behind you if you want that stretch in the leg. So front leg, left in this case, is at a 90-degree angle. Shin is parallel to your body. And you can bring a prop in front of you to come down onto for support if that feels good. And we'll sit up nice and straight, lengthening the spine. And then reaching out and over the leg to come down and find a place that feels like you can rest. Feeling that deep stretch in the left glute and hip. Taking deep breaths into that joint. In yin, we're primarily working with connective tissue, fascia, and this tissue wraps around all of our everything inside our body. So it connects muscles to bone, it wraps around every organ. Our nervous system lives inside the fascia. And when we don't have a ton of movement in the fascia, or when we're not moving our body frequently or stretching frequently, fascia can get drier, and so it can turn into almost like a more of a gel type substance. So with yin yoga, when we're sinking into these poses and relaxing, that gel texture becomes more like liquid. So gel to liquid is the state change that we're after here. Taking one more deep breath here. And on the exhale, using your hands and arms to push upright. And you can come to sit on your butt and lean back on your hands. And we can do some windshield wipers here to release the hips. So sending the knees over to the left and then over to the right. And when you're ready, we'll come to the other side. So right leg will be at a 90-degree angle in front of you. Left leg at approximately 90 degrees behind you. Again, you can have a prop in front of you if that feels nice to lean on. So sitting up nice and straight. And then starting to lean forward, thinking long spine here, reaching out and over the leg. And finding your personal edge in this moment. Breathing into the right hip and finding a little more ease and relaxation on the exhale. Taking one more deep breath. And slowly pushing upright. You can keep your bolster handy. We're going to come to a seated position with legs out long in front of us to caterpillar pose. And we're going to take it wide-legged, so feet are about mat width distance apart. And it can be nice to have a bolster or a blanket to bring the ground up to you, depending on how far you can lean forward here, or feels good to lean forward here. So So come to an upright spine. You can even reach the hands up to find length in the spine. And then we're going to fold out and forward, finding that balance of stretch without tension. Feeling that stretch from the backs of the ankles up through the calves, the backs of the knees, the hamstrings and glutes, low back, mid and upper back, and all the way up to the back of the neck. Full length of the back of your body stretching here. When you find your personal edge, just finding stillness in this pose. And if you find that your edge moves while you're holding this pose, if you feel like it might feel good to go deeper, you can go a little deeper and find a new edge and hold there. And think about breathing into the back of the body, so behind the chest, the back side of the lungs, the sides of the lungs. Again, thinking gel to water here. On your next exhale, coming back up to seated. Nice and slowly, using your arms for support. And again, you can lean back on your hands, bringing the feet to the ground and doing some windshield wipers to release the hips. If you have a block, grab it now. If not, a book works or something similar. We're going to come to lie on our back, but have your block or support handy. And come to lie on the back with the feet on the floor, knees pointing upright. And just settle in here for a moment, feeling the length of the spine. Letting the spine be in a neutral position. Maybe tucking and untucking the pelvis for a little movement and mobilization. And when you're ready, planting the feet, we're going to tuck the pelvis slightly, pushing into the feet, raising the pelvis up into bridge. You can grab your support and choose whatever height is right for you. So a block has several heights. Maybe you want it on the lowest or the highest. And placing the support right under the sacrum. And then just allowing the body to rest into that support. Maybe tucking the shoulder blades under. Arms long at your sides. And just feeling how the pelvis is supported here. If you'd like to go a little deeper, you can start to walk the feet out away from you. Maybe even bringing them all the way long and straight. Maybe bringing the arms above the head for a full body stretch. Breathing into the belly and the ribs here. Relaxing into the support on every exhale. If you spend a lot of your days sitting at a desk or in the car, this is a really great pose to find length and flexibility again on the front of the body through the psoas muscle that goes from around your pelvis up and kind of wraps around your side body. And if your legs were long, slowly walking them back towards the body, finding feet flat on the ground again. Engaging the abdominal muscles slightly, tucking the pelvis slightly, pushing into the feet and raising the pelvis up just a little bit so you can remove the prop. And slowly, one vertebrae at a time, bringing the spine back to the ground. Just finding a neutral spine here, letting the body recalibrate. Feeling any sensation in the spine, in the front of the body. We're going to come hug the knees to the chest, like in a little ball, and you can rock side to side if that feels good. We're going to come to a twist, so bringing both knees over to the left to start. Arms are out wide in a T shape. And you can turn to look past your right hand here. Breathing into the twist, breathing into the side body, and all the digestive organs, and the low belly. And taking one more deep breath on this side. And bringing the knees back to center. Hug your knees into your chest and rocking a little bit if that feels good. And we'll bring the knees over to the right now. Arms can be wide, looking past the left hand. And breathing into the low belly. Taking one more deep breath here. And slowly coming back to center. We're going to come into happy baby, so bringing the feet to face the sky, legs at a 90-degree angle, and reaching the hands up to grab the outside of both of the feet. You can find a nice tension here between the shoulders pulling down towards the ground and the feet gently pressing up towards the sky. You can find a rocking motion here if that feels good. Feeling that deep stretch in the hips. And taking one more deep breath into the belly. And releasing the feet from the hands, bringing the knees back into the chest. And we'll come back up to seated, so you can either roll up and down the spine or roll onto one side and then sit up. And we're going to be seated on the mat for a moment, so if it feels good to sit up on something, you can grab some support. So sitting upright, again finding that that version of upright that feels easy, minimal effort. Finding your center, and maybe closing the eyes if that feels good. I'm going to do a 3-part breath, so on your next inhale, breathing into the belly, the low belly, and then moving the breath up to the ribs, expanding the rib cage, and then up to the chest, feeling that lift and expansion in the chest, and then slowly letting the air go, feeling it drain out of your chest and ribs and belly. We'll do that again, breathing into the low belly, the navel center, moving up to the ribs, and floating up to the chest, finding that lift, and then letting the air flow slowly back down out of the chest, out of the ribs, out of the low belly. Imagine it flowing right into the earth. And on that next inhale, drawing it into the low belly. Imagine drawing that energy and breath straight from the earth into your body, into the ribs, and up to the chest. And letting it slowly drain out of you from the chest, through the ribs, and through the low belly. You can continue with that breath if that feels good, or just find a natural, easy breath pattern for a moment here. Feeling the practice echoing in your body. Giving the body time to integrate and remember this experience. And when you're ready, slowly opening the eyes. And you can look around your space and get reacquainted with the room you're in. So that was our morning yin practice. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.